Now this is about Dharmapada. So do we see any weapons in this form of Ganesha representing Dharmapada? The clear answer is no. But the lion does symbolize his strength and fearlessness. And he holds a Kalpavriksha. So the depiction of basically a Kalpavriksha, for those who don't know, is a vriksha which fulfills if you are standing below it, any of your desires will be fulfilled. That is the short story about it. So this is the image that you are seeing on the left downside is the Kalpavriksha depiction in Ranakpur Jain temple. A very beautiful carving, and I think everybody should go over there, no matter what religion or whatever you are from, because this is actually showing you the wisdom for everybody. Why? Let's go to the next slide. So look at the Kalpavriksha and look at the cross section of the brain. Okay. So I don't know if you can see the mouse or not, but over here, there you see a kind of a leaf, kind of a structure, and you kind of try to see and map this Kalpavriksha and the brain. It actually looks the same. There are some parts in the brain, the cerebellum, which takes control of your voluntary movements and all those things. I know there are some doctors in this over here, so they will know more about each function of the brain. But there are one for desire and everything. And if you look, so this kind of maps to the Kalpavriksha. So actually we as humans are standing right below the Kalpavriksha, our brain. So our desires, we can fulfill it, provided we understand Ganesha. Because we have to understand one thing. It's not Kartikeya who got the mango. It's Ganesha who got the mango. So lion, what it represents? Strength, fearlessness. So the emblem of Bharat, or nowadays we somehow like to call it India. No offense, but actually, if you look at the Constitution of India, the name is Bharat and the proxy name is India. So this is the emblem of Bharat, and there is this chakra over here. We will talk about it. It's called Dharma Chakra. This Ashok Stambha, and it's called Ashok Stambha. It is also found in Thailand, 13th century. This is the postage of India of our Independence Day, 15th August 1947. Lion seeing in all four directions. Dharma should be spread in all four directions. Dharma is your duty. Your duty does not mean religion. Let me be very clear about it. Now, Dharma Chakra. Hinduism and the branches of it, Jainism, Buddhism, all have given huge importance to Dharma Chakra. Why? Because if every one of us do our dharma, then we won't be on the streets protesting, fighting. We will be trying to really follow the dharma, the requirement of the time, to sit inside our home, wait for the vaccine to come, wait for it to be tested properly, The doctors, the corporates also try to make sure that the vaccine is proper. But if we as individuals don't follow our dharma, they don't have the chance to test it properly. Doctors don't have chance to basically really do what they are selected for. By whatever means, to become a doctor is not an easy task. It requires a lot of dedication. So over here we see in the first century, Gandhara is in Afghanistan. So this is the footprint of Buddha, where you can see the chakra over here. Going to the next slide, and if if you have visited Thailand, Burma, Bhutan, India, Indonesia, a lot of these places, or some temples in US, you might have seen these kind of architectures where lion has been depicted in this kind of architecture. So this is the ark. There are two lions standing over here. Then the lion standing in the front of the gate. Right. Now this is a very interesting lion statue that has been found at Sun Temple, Konark, where the lion is in top of Ganesha or the elephant, whatever way you want to see it, right? Because we ourselves are the Ganesha, but we have chosen the Kartikeya way in a way. So if we do not follow the dharma, what is the dharma? How to do your dharma? This is the way to do your dharma. No weapons. You don't see any weapons over here, but you have to be having strength. You need to have fearlessness about your dharma. But no weapons over here. So this is a very interesting basic temple found in Konark. So if you don't do your dharma, you will be crushed by it. The second is Yoga Ganpati. Now, second pada is associated with Artha. In a way, you try to accumulate things, right? You want to make secure yourself because it is terrestrial. You are always insecure. So the survival. So for that, you want to basically even you want to accumulate all those things. So in a way, if you look at it, sugar cane, it grows on itself. Accumulation, right? So nowadays we want to accumulate so much stuff. We acquire so much stuff because we are not in yoga with the environment. We are not in one with the environment. We are buying so much stuff that there is a place near Texas in Pacific Ocean, near California in Pacific Ocean, which is the size of Texas. It is all filled with garbage. You can go and look it up. So we are not, when we are doing our karma to basically accumulate, we are forgetting that we are even entangling ourselves with the knots, with the karmic knots. Okay. So that is why you see so much of trash everywhere. So if some of you might have heard the stories of Ashoka, during that India it was so clean, unbelievably clean. You couldn't have found a cleanest country in the world because dharma was seen in all four directions. To keep your house clean in a way is your dharma. Why your house is only your house? Why not outside of your house? Don't you go outside? So this is what because we are not When we are trying to do of karma, we are not in yoga. So that's why what it represents Shiva. So this is what it is about. You should be in yoga with it. Shiva is always doing meditation in this pada, right? So basically, that is what the blue garment, in a way, blue what in a meditative. Who is the meditative pose, right? So who is the who got yoga to us, to humans? It's the Adi Yogi, Shiva. By the way, this is a very amazing Adi Yogi statue in India, or idol, I might say. I'm sorry, I really need to figure out how it should be said in a respectable manner. But one thing definitely to visit for anybody who is in India or who might plan to visit. So going to the third pada is called the Durga Ganpati. Durga Ganpati is defined as Durga Ganpati, the invincible, waves the flag of victory over darkness. The splendid Murti is of deep gold hue, dressed in red, holding a bow and arrow, noose and gourd, prayer beads, broken tusk, and rose apple. Now, Durga, and this pada is associated with Kama, Adhidevika, or heavenly. Now, Durga is a divine feminine energy representing desire, strength, courage, transformation. So don't consider feminine in the direct translation into female. That will be one of the biggest mistakes in a way, if you try to do that. So Durga is the divine feminine energy representing desire, strength, courage, transformation. And over here, Ganpati is actually holding a rose apple. A very interesting connection. We'll talk about it in one of the slides below. It is mind-blowing. We'll go through it below in the next slides. Now, bow and arrow is representing the wise use of energy in an accurate way to achieve desires with dharma. Nowadays, our desires are so that I want to achieve my desires. It doesn't matter if somebody other's desires is, I basically stamp on it. It really doesn't matter. I achieved my desire. So this is what it is. Ganpati is saying, please use your energies in a wise, accurate way to achieve your desires. How it can be gained? How to gain it? You basically needs to have a prayer beads. Why? Because you need to be in yoga. You need to be in one with the whole existence. So the broken tusk over here represents basically maturity gained by friction of existence. Even though we try to understand, and a lot of us are basically really understanding it, that we should not be doing it, but it is the compulsion that we have, that we basically stamp for achieving our desires. We somehow stamp on others' desires also. So basically gaining wisdom, right? So next slide. So what does this noose and gourd represent? The noose represent the karmic knots. The knot that you can see over here, a lot of people who go to camping or mountain climbing will definitely know this knot. So this is also found in Ranakpur Jain Temple. This image is from Ranakpur Jain Temple. And this, if you know, this god is used by Mahut. Mahut is basically the elephant driver, the man who sits on the top of the elephant and handles it. So elephant, it's not that you can just they need to sometimes, if they go beyond certain things, they need to use this in order to make sure that the elephant doesn't harm anybody. It looks very cruel to people that, oh, this is what they use to handle the elephant, but uh, they are actually trained. These are barely used by those elephant trainers, because these elephants are actually trained from their childhoods actually. And people might say, oh, but that is slavery. But the problem is, if we don't use them, when we stop using them, now we are just directly killing them, because there is no use for them, right? So who wants to take care of somebody who is of no use? So there was a time when though it looks cruel, but this was just because they were used to walk on the regular roads. So they don't want, because of might be elephant's desire to basically do a dance on the road, the Mahout has to control it. So in some cases, our Mahout are our basically our karmas that we do. And then the divine has to interrupt us. And that's why sometimes life seems cruel. You have to understand that. It's not the wise energies that we use. So that's why we have to be in one with Ganpati. We have to understand Ganpati before actually trying to even learn a lot of these vidyas or knowledge. So this teaches us this prayer beats teaches us how to calm the existence within ourselves, how to be calm, how to better train ourselves, how to desires is not something that can be gotten, that we get moksha today, we think of it and we get, right? We have to train ourselves to achieve that. But during that time, we want to achieve our desires, to have fulfillment of it. But we want to for them to come out in a have a very nice outcome, which is very, which basically is sweet to everybody, not only us. Because if existence is sweet, by the definition of it, we will get the sweetness of it. Means definitely you can go and ask people who might be living near this trash, this whole heaps of trash in a lot of cities nowadays. So the fourth is Sankathara Ganpati. Sankathara Ganpati, the dispeller of sorrow, is of sun-like hue, dressed in blue, seated on a red lotus flower. He holds a bowl of pudding, a god, a noose, while gesturing a boon-granting Varada Mudra. Now, I don't know much about Varada Mudra, but I know that it is boon granting. Okay. So, if you try to actually go and train yourself, have some self reflection on what happens to you. At least start by doing uh, once in a month. So 1/4, right? Approximately 4 weeks. So once in 4 weeks. And then start increasing the self-reflection day by day, hour by hour. Come by minutes to minutes, come by seconds to seconds. Then you will know, somehow you will actually understand what is dharma. Because you will be actually processing everything right at that time. There is nothing, nowadays when we say you pay attention, people are processing the meaning of it while having attention. It doesn't make sense to process while paying attention, but that is also a talk What is attention is a talk of a different day, all by itself. So red lotus flower, what does it represent? It represents spiritual growth. Now somehow you will see all over the world, people somehow suffer sorrow and they become wise. Because somehow with the sorrow comes the need of self-reflection. Okay. Why the need of self-reflection? If you see very middle of the slide, there is this Jain temple in Ranakpur which shows a person standing, and you can see the karmic knots on all 360 degrees with so many different people standing inside of the knots, if you can see. Right? So we involve with so many people in our lives. And for fulfilling our desires, we might have stepped knowingly, unknowingly. I'm not saying we knowingly do it. There is a lot of unknowing stuff that happens within us, but it does happen. So self-reflection is one of the most important part. So wherever your fourth pada is, try to understand why your fourth pada is there in that nakshatra. What does it mean? So that is why I also feel that taking out wisdom teeth, I don't know how that affects all these energies, because we have seen in astrology that by doing some teeth cleaning, there are some kind of energies we become receptive to. So anyways, going forward, one another thing is the Chaturthi, the fourth day of Krishna Paksha, the waning phase of the moon. Each month is auspicious for worship of Lord Ganesha. The Sankata, and by the way, Sankata, for those who don't know the Indic knowledge, Indic languages, Sankata means like distress, obstacle, and the Hara means to destroy. And one another thing for our scientific today world, right? For today's generation, the line or the curve dividing the illuminated and the dark parts of the moon is called the terminator. The terminator of the moon crescent can appear on the left side, right side, top, bottom, wherever. So that is also one thing very interesting, that they somehow chose to call it the terminator. So this is, I have directly, I am not, I have just, I am really Bala Ganpati in this knowledges. So I have taken this from one of the medical astrology books. I forgot to mention the reference over here. I'm sorry about that. I will put it later. So the first month of, according to medical astrology, first month is of planet Venus. It is a flashy mass. The second month is of Mars, solid mass. Third month is of Jupiter, sprouting of organs. Okay, and so on. Today we won't be able to discuss all the things, but how scientific all these things are is mind-blowing to me. So let's go now with nakshatras and Ganpatis. So that this will come as we go in the next slides. These things will come. So that's why I wanted to show you how all these, according to medical astrology, how a child gets formed or incubated, or how Parvati, in a way, takes turmeric and builds Ganesha and infuses life. So Bala Ganpati is a childlike god of golden hue. In his hands he holds a banana, mango, sugarcane, jackfruit, all representing Earth's abundance and fertility. His trunk garners his favorite sweet, the modaka. Now, it's very interesting to see a few connections over here. So he has the golden hue. Look at the mango; it has a golden hue, right? Then, if you look at the jackfruit, it is like golden, just like a mango, and the shape is like modaka. So the modaka is made in the shape of the jackfruit, right? And if you have tasted jackfruit, uh, uh, the ripe one, it has a tinge of mango in it. It grows in abundance. It is a replacement of chicken. Also, it is used. So that is one great thing for people who want to become vegans or vegetarians. Great thing to do. Sugarcane. Now, sugarcane, in a way, you can grow either by cutting these and then again putting it into the soil, so the root grows from the, I don't remember exactly what it is called, the uh, the divisions that you are seeing, right? You can just put it in the ground and the roots sprout. Other way to grow is actually nowadays not used in farming much, but you can actually, there are seeds which you can plant. Okay, so in a way it is growing of yourself. So the DNA of the child is basically from the mother and the kid, and the mother and the father. Sorry. Now, if you know, the first month is Venus. Venus, basically Shukracharya, Shukla, white, sperm, semen. Got it? And also, banana is equated with Devagaru Brahaspati, the planet Jupiter. Interesting thing to see is that Jupiter is the third planet and the third month, and it says sprouting of organs, and that is what actually happens. It's the third month when the organs actually really sprout. Yes, it is the second month when the buds start appearing, but it's the third month when the sprouting of organs really happen, even by today's sonographies and all that. Thanks to my sister for giving me the confirmation of this knowledge. I just called her yesterday. And look how banana grows on the tree. Now going to next. Now how basically the conception happens and the story of Sage Dadichi, right? Now the story is somewhat, in short, is somewhat it goes like this, that Sage Dadichi had this knowledge which the Ashwini Kumars wanted. But Indra had cursed Sage Dadichi not to give the knowledge to the to anybody. So that was Madhu Vidya. So Madhu means honey, basically. And it is basically a kind of an ambrosia for youthfulness. Something similar, I'm sorry if I am made some mistakes over there. But it's about Madhu Vidya. So what Ashwin Kumar does is basically they very tactfully remove his head, put a horse's head. Ashwin Kumars are said to be horse-headed in a way, and they replace the says is with head with the horse head. Then he teaches them the vidya, and then they replaces his head again and puts says Dadiji's head again, so that he still lives and he doesn't die. So that's how they gain the vidya. So one another thing is this, right? Now scientists, now technology has evolved so nicely that scientists just captured the flash of light that sparks when sperm meets an egg. You can read this article on Science Alert, and there is actually a video of it also available. Check it out. It's mind blowing. So, actually, in a way, yes, there is a Big Bang. Okay. And it is really very, it's amazing to see that. So, please do check out that. So, there is, for those who know Hygriva, a god with a horse head, he is said to bring the Vedas back to Brahma. So, if you, Brahma is the creator, right? So now the only reason the Vedas need to come back if there is creation. Who brings the creation? It's when the sperm and the egg fuses and this Big Bang happens, right? So, but who? So it's like the DNA transfer and the fusion. The Shiv and the Shakti meets, right? So the basically that's what the whole and consider the divine feminine very differently over here. It's not that the male doesn't contain any feminine. If we didn't, we would have been statues actually, because there is no energy. So another good thing is that Lord Ganpati is of golden hue, and the Ashwin Kumars are said to come with their sisters, with their sister Usha, golden light of dawn or twilight. So so amazing way that this idols or iconography can capture vast and huge amounts of data. It's unbelievable. Now this is mind blowing. Taruna Ganpati is the Bharni Nakshatra. Now the yoni of it is basically the female womb, and the symbol is the vagina. Okay. Now over here, we'll go to the others, but the first let's go to the wood apple. Now the wood apple, if you look how it looks, and this is the image from Wikipedia, what it shows that how the self-replication starts in the first few weeks and till 2 months. This is how the massive the so from fleshy mass it converts to the solid mass. So the wood apple. Look at how the wood apple, for those who have eaten this, will know that how this each and everything is so separate, and each and everything is like a cell represented in the above image. The next very mind-blowing thing is about the rose apple. Now the thing that you are looking over here is the uterus with the ovaries. Now do one thing. The things that looks like the ear, fold them inside. They become like a rose apple, and over here are the seeds in the middle. Do you see that? So that is what it is represented as, right? And these are means this is amazingly mind-blowing for me, that rose apple, how it captures this information. And rose apple, even the taste is somewhat sour and also sweet, and something that women will crave for. It is not available everywhere though. That is one issue in India. But in Junagadh, that is where I used to love. That's why I used to love to go to Junagadh in Gujarat to because I got to eat this rose apple. Now in the over here, what we see is the broken tusk, which can represent maturity or puberty also. And it can even represent breaking of virginity, based upon which uh, kind of thing you are looking for, right? So remember that this will lead to a knot, and there will be a karmic knot, and that you will have to go through. And for rice is something what the great Parasara, the great sage, said in his text about Krishi Vidya, means basically farming knowledge, right? That rice is vitality, rice is vigor too. Rice is indeed the means of fulfillment of all ends of life. Gods, demons, and human beings all subsist on rice. Now, lot of our Indian, and you might even see it in Thailand, Malaysia, China, lot of places where rice is used and for a lot of rituals. So this is what all of this signify. So I think the next will be we'll go for the interesting story of Shukracharya in the next lecture, because I think it would be better if we just listen if somebody has any question or some inputs to give, because that will be a more interactive session. So for Kritika Nakshatra onwards, we'll see it separately, but the mappings I have already given them. That is what I think right now are accurate, but we will see as I go through the whole thing. And it is basically kind of an introduction, because it is connecting so many different kinds of what we say sciences. So I don't want to confuse people a lot, but these are the mappings. And I will open it up for all to see if anybody has any questions.
Namaste, Ramit ji. Rishi ji, sorry.
Yes, yes, Neha.
Apne jo, the one that you had mentioned about wood apple, can you please help me understand that a little further?
Sure, let me open that slide. Yes. Yes, Neha.
So, because wood apple, I mean, I have never seen this. And this is very interesting. So, this is an actual fruit, or what is it?
So it is an actual fruit. So I am from Gujarat. So I'm
Okay.
from Vadodara. So in Gujarat, this fruit is called, I think, kothu in Gujarati. So it is a brown. It's just like a wood. There is a brown whole shell, and inside it there is this. There are a lot of seeds, and this fleshy mass that you see inside is kind of. I think it's like kind of a sour and astringent kind of taste, but it has a very interesting taste actually. And I think I don't know if means if anybody else has eaten this, or if anybody knows more, if it is something that women crave kind of taste during pregnancy. But I think it might be.
Okay. And this one, the other one, rose apple. I mean, this is so amazing, and thank you so much for sharing this about the uterus. What would you suggest that somebody who is because these days PCOD, PCOS, and uterus-related issues are rampant. So, would you suggest something, or are there any studies, any observation that you have that eating rose apple can help in balancing vaginal hormonal secretions or something like that?
So, see, I am actually a computer engineer who really got very interested in this Indic things because, let me tell you very frankly, artificial intelligence and Indic studies is unbelievably connected, quantum mechanics and all that stuff also. So that's how I got interested in this. So I am actually a computer engineer, so I can't really give a medical opinion either because of Ayurveda understanding or because of any allopathy understanding also. But what I'm planning to do is might be involve some of Ayurvedic doctors or some allopathic doctors in order to really figure out how these things can be done, because it really seems that why will they put rose apple in hand of Ganesha, and where this is so much unbelievable that it looks like a uterus, right? And on top of it, if you for Indic studies, one people might know uh, Jambu Dweep, for
Mm.
example, right? So even the Jambu Dweep, if you look like it, it kind of the look is like a rose apple only.
Okay. Also, maybe because Ganesha, Lord Ganesha is also associated with the Mooladhara Chakra.
That can be, means we'll have to more get into it. So I am actually frankly working on it. So that's why I said it's just an introduction. So because I think this will turn out to be a huge subject actually altogether.
It's very interesting. And this picture that you have placed above the wood apple, you mentioned that this is basically when an embryo is converting from a blob to organs. Is that what you meant, or did I miss that?
So no, that is the third. That will come in Kritika Nakshatra.
Okay. So this one would be what? Like just the blob.
This is just the blob. So if you look over here, right, from basically when the basically the fuse, the Venus, right, the sperm infuses into the ovum and the fleshy mass starts. So the fleshy mass in Taruna Nakshatra will become the solid mass. So the process of it is basically as simple as the cell replication, if I might say. So basically 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. Got it?
Ah, right, right. Like the tree of life, sacred geometry and all.
Yeah, or you might say this in binary, right? 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32.
Right. Beautiful. Amazing.
It
Correct.
goes. And that's why it is very fast. The first 2 months are like the whole thing grows very fast. So that is what like horse, right? Ashwini is. Means after that
Hmm.
take a break,
Right.
then the growth starts defining a different way.
Right. And one more quick question. I'm sorry, I did not want to eat up all the time of questions. But what's coming to my mind is that when it comes to remedies in term of Venus, and in fact for Mars, where you mentioned about these fruits, maybe consuming them does something, if you want to include that in your research with Ayurveda as a remedy of Venus, because a negative karmic registry with Venus might give us, a lack of enjoyment in the now. So maybe these things like the wood apple and rose apple, they do something to release something in our brain which can help us enjoy more.
Might be, yes. I am really looking forward to a lot of research into this because the thing is, no need to eat this nauseating medicines.
Medicine. Yeah, yeah,
So that would, as much it can help the female to go through this nicely. It will be whatever we can do. We should be trying to do it actually. And I would really tell you to go through this amazing video which has been captured. By the way, this is by Northwestern University. They have written this article, so you can Google it and then you can also find the video of it. Actually.
I have seen this video, and what came to my mind a long time back when I saw it was it's like the coming together of Shiva and Shakti, you
Yeah,
know. Uh,
exactly. So
and
that's
even
what
in our Shastras, it is written that the kind of energy it created, which is Mars.
right now. This is actually, if you say Big Bang, or you can say Big Bang where,
Yeah,
because the
right.
universe
As
also.
above, so below. As above, so below.
Yes.
Any creation requires a Big Bang, which means.
You're basically, that's a like in a way light bulb idea. This
Okay. Yeah.
that,
Excellent.
that's
Thank
why.
you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you
Next.
so much, Rishiji, for this. This is beautiful knowledge. I hope we are sharing the PPT and the lecture because it's very interesting to keep in our mind.
Yeah, I'll be sharing the video. We'll be putting it on YouTube, as I said in the disclaimer above also. Thank you, Nehaji.
Thank you, sir.
So, anybody else?
Rishiji, we
Rishiji,
have couple
this is
of
Mike.
sorry, Balaji, we have couple of questions in the chat from Smita ji and Cheryl, and then we can take up next.
Okay. So,
Smita ji, you want to go next?
okay. One. Okay, so let me go all the way above. Where? Okay, Smita ji. My dentist collects a lot of elephant idols, different sizes, versions. That is nice to know. And where is her question?
Maybe Smita ji can ask herself.
Yeah. Just unmute her, so we can unmute her. Sorry.
She can unmute herself. Smita ji, are you there?
Yes, Sachinji, I'm here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Smita.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I have seen this about Pushya,
Mm-hmm.
that if there are, malefics there,
Uh-huh.
the native chews the food really fast and they just want to be done with food. They don't want to chew it properly, use the function of the teeth.
Yes, so that is very true. So actually, if you look at it, right, the Pushya, the symbol is in a way basically connected to the cow. So they should be eating like a cow,
Very slowly.
very slowly and chew like 1,000 times in a way. Means
Right.
20 times is the best. I think 20 or something they say is better if you have stomach aches or something. But in generally, I think it is recommended 20 times. I think.
Okay. So how do you calm down the energy of the malefics here in Pushya?
So in any nakshatra or anything, right, we will go through all this, how to calm down any energy. For that, you will really need to, I would say, understand Ganesha.
Okay.
So if you look, right, the Sankathara, basically the calming down of energies is basically, if you look at it in a way, is your third and the fourth pada, where you basically mess up the most. The fourth pada, Sankathara, dispeller of sorrow. When
Right.
we are sad, we actually don't understand, but we even inflict so much pain on others. Means frankly, this is something that I have learned by practical.
Uh-huh.
So it is not that's why self-reflection is important in each and every karma that you do. That and the Krishna consciousness means that you have already, if you look, this is what exactly is the Krishna consciousness. If you look at it, right, where is that slide? Okay, this. So basically, you know the consequences of the past, the present, the future, the eternal. So you know the whole thing, and when you know the whole thing, then you will have the fearlessness of executing your dharma, the requirement of the day. Now, dharma depends on people to people, not from religion to religion.
Okay.
Religion is a totally different thing. So that is where people get confused. Dharma is, for example, I'm a computer engineer.
Mm-hmm.
It is my dharma to write proper code.
Yes.
Otherwise, my company will not survive.
Correct.
Right? So similarly, that is what actually is dharma. Religion is basically a superficial wrapper around it. So understanding those and understanding even the sorrows, how you should go through sorrows, understanding this Ganesha, the whole how Ganesha is telling you. Because see, Ganesha was not angry when he won. And the whole drama was created by Kartikeya because he felt cheated. But he did not understand that Shiva told, go and take circle around your world. Now, what does your world mean? So, if you look at Vishnu Sahasranama,
Yes.
your world means your individual world, not even your spouse, not even your kid, you single alone. So that's how
Correct.
you calm
Yeah.
your energy. You
Yes.
cannot be dependent on others because let me tell you one thing.
Uh-huh.
Every means you won't find a single second if you are engaged with people where somebody doesn't say or doesn't do that you don't like. It's not going to happen.
Yes.
So that's what it actually is. That's how we should calm our energies. I am also trying to learn it, frankly. So we are all, that's why I said I am also basically a Bal Ganpati in understanding these. Anything else, Smita ji?
No, Rishi Matalia ji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Smita ji.
Yes.
Yeah, anybody else?
We have Cheryl ji next. Cheryl ji, please unmute. Cheryl.
Okay, if she is not there, I think I saw her question.
Okay, she says she hates speaking, so we can come to her question next. Balaji wants to ask something.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Balaji.
Hi, Rishiji. First of all, thanks a lot for this wonderful session. So it's a lot of good and new information for me. Thanks for that.
Thank you.
I have a couple of questions, Rishiji.
Yes.
The first thing is about see you said okay, like there's one Ganesha for each nakshatra and one Ganesha for each pada. So when we probably try to see at the nakshatra pada level, should we look at a combination of these Ganapatis? Is that is it something that we should do that way?
So, that is what exactly I think that is what it basically means. Because that's why I'm going through this research. And I think that has to be considered, as you said, right? Exactly as a combination of nakshatra and the pada, in order to understand how to process the energy so that we can be on the right path. It is not for your for anybody's material gain or anything like that, but for evolution of yourself. See, if you evolve, by definition of it, you will get the other things by itself, or you won't require it by itself. Nowadays, a lot of confusion around the world is in needs and wants, right? So now people, that is like, for example, Pada 3, the desires. Now, whether your desire is actually needed
Correct.
or not, that is how basically the Ganesha is trying to say, you have to process it in this way, then you will basically enjoy the mango, the fruit, the sweetness of life.
Got it. Got it. Got it, Rishiji. Thanks. My next question is that, right? So now, since you mentioned, okay, that each teeth, the 32 teeth, okay, that every adult have as association with the nakshatra. Sorry, this may be a very silly question, okay? Say, if someone is having a problem in a particular teeth, right, or if it's broken, does it indicate something, okay, about that nakshatra or something?
I think so. Means basically, see, there are 32 teeth, 4 are called wisdom teeth. I don't think it is any kind of, just a coincidence. There can't be so many coincidences. I'm sorry. But if so, there are 28 nakshatras. So my bet will be on what you are saying.
Okay, okay. Got it, Rishi.
Because
Maybe I think if
right, like children have 20 milk teeth, and the 21st nakshatra is Uttarashada. Devta is Vishwadevas. For Vishwadevas means basically, can you just explain people more on Vishwadevas somewhat a little, because I think I'm not good in, I don't know exactly in terms of how it combines. If you can, Balaji.
sorry, you are asking about Vishwa Devas, right?
Yes. Can you just explain people a little on Vishwadevas?
I don't have much knowledge, okay, but just what I understand about Vishwa Devas, right? They actually kind of very high knowledge, okay, and kind of high scholarly people, and mostly it indicates, okay, kind of success in anything that they do. So just at a high level, this is my understanding, Rishiji.
Thank you, Balaji. So it's anything else, Balaji?
No, that's all I have, Rishiji. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you. Next, anybody else?
I can read Cheryl G's question. She wants me to
Okay,
read it out.
yes, go ahead,
Uh,
Sachin.
the question is, for example, for Uttar Falguni Nakshatra, I thought the Ganpati was Ekakshara, not Lakshmi Ganpati. Are there different Ganpati reference lists?
So to clear Ikshara, let me just open this. Uttarashada, right? So that is which number? Nakshatra in there.
I think she mentions Uttara Falguni Nakshatra.
Uttara Falguni. So let me tell you one thing, okay? So people might have heard different things at different places. So because I think the understanding of it was not done by scientific principles or something, somehow the knowledge got lost or something. That's what I feel. So because so that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to say that what this it is not ikshara. Okay, not ikshara. Anurada. Okay, I will basically what we will go is we will go through this session, other sessions. At that time, we will reach and we will know why it is not Ikshara Ganpati and it is Hiramba Ganpati. How about it? Because it is going to be a huge session. Because people, there's a lot of things which have been in the astrological world which have been mapped to different stuff. For example, you might this you will not have seen anywhere, right? And on top of it, this Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and Advaitik. That is what I took from this popular Hindu astrology by Kalinath Mukherjee. So he has given the definitions of it, and this is the mapping, right? Some of them have mapped it in a different way. But when you map it in a different way, it really doesn't make sense. The reason being, metaphysical is what? Philosophy, religion, uh, morals, values. How are they derived? They are derived from the past, learnings of the past. Without that, there is no philosophy. You cannot process anything if you don't have the past with you. So that's how the whole. That's why it is now. Aren't your desires heavenly? Right. That's why everybody wants to smoke marijuana, wants to have LSD, is because they feel that that is heaven. That's why you find it in the third pada people are like junkies, Kamdev, Pradyumna, incarnation of Kamadeva. So people have mapped it in different ways, but this is my understanding on how it should be mapped. And this is also basically is my understanding. And as ages go forward, right, the understanding and the culture changes for people. And that's how you will find that why you will find multiple stories of the same thing with some changes, because that is what is required for people to understand that day.
Rishiji, can you please go back to the previous slide that you just showed?
Yes.
Yes. If I may comment, I noticed I'm an Ayurvedic practitioner, and the disease classification is very similar with this structure with the Adi, Adhyatmic, Adi Bautic, and Adi Devic in the early forms of when you're looking at a disease profile for someone. These are part of the classification. So that might be something to pursue in the research.
Oh, thank you. Means I really didn't know, but basically with the meanings of the words, this is how I mapped. It will be, it is wonderful to hear that this is what it coincides with the Ayurvedic things. And in the fourth pada, if you look, I have not mentioned because I don't know what it is, because it is not actually, I was not able to find it in this book.
Okay, maybe that's something I can look up and see if I can find that. But I noticed it did have a triplicity in the same way that you mentioned it.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Okay, anybody else?
Karthik ji had a similar confusion regarding this. Karthik ji, do you have something more to add, or it got answered?
No, Rishiji, thank you so much for your insights. It's fantastic. Now, the only confusion I have is from what we have learned elsewhere, Rishiji, with from a common guru that we all have, some of us. Uh, the Ganesha that the app Cosmic Insights use, that Ganapati is different from this list. Maybe something we need to think about and reconcile if the basis is different.
See, what I would say is that I am going through a scientific means,
Yeah.
right? So basically, the thing is, there are a lot of, I means, what is the basis, I would ask, for that conclusion? Because it somehow doesn't make sense to me in certain places where the Ganpati and the Nakshatra things don't even match the attributes of it.
Yeah, the
Like,
source for that needs to be understood well. I agree with you.
see, over there they have just mentioned that this is related to Ganpati, but how? Why?
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Whereas over here, that's why I'm taking the scientific approach to say that, okay, how nakshatras and Ganpatis are mapped. So that's why we have one for pada, for each pada, and then we have this 32. And at least I can say that I hope I was able to convince you guys with the first two Ganpatis.
Yes. No, I mean your basis makes a lot of sense. When I use the other Ganapati list, I do struggle, but maybe there is a different basis for that, and as it happens in astrology with these things.
See, one thing all of us have to understand and be open to is that we can be wrong. Right? Even I can be wrong, but because the thing is, a lot of this has been lost in last 1,000 years because of what happened during the invasions. We have to really open up our mind and really think on how to dig this. So scientifically to do that, I would say this is one of the ways.
Correct.
People might come with other ways, and if they want to contradict, you are always welcome. But let's bring some sense to the discussion by proper arguments and proper knowledgeable opinions, I would say.
Agreed. I think it's different frames of reference, and maybe we should ask,
Yeah, I
people
think
like Dr. Pai and understand why they have those Ganapatis in that list, for example.
Karthik, another thing that we have to also understand, right? That that might be somebody, let's say, for example, if some Ganpati is worshipped in some temple for, let's say, just a blind shot at some XYZ nakshatra, right?
Mm.
But a lot of people might be going to that from other nakshatra because somehow the influences from other nakshatra can only be cured by this nakshatra. We know that Ashwini nakshatra, there are a lot of people who don't have pregnancies, right? Are unable to have pregnancies. If they go to a doctor who has Ashwini nakshatra, then they will be able to somehow establish the pregnancy for that particular for that person. They can go to any other doctor, it won't happen. But if they go to that Ashwini Nakshatra, it will work. Similarly, if you look at Satabhisha, I would say, just from looking at the attributes of it, right? An unbelievable attribute of it is an empty circle and thousands of physicians. Now, who requires thousands or hundreds of physicians? Nobody else except if you are in a mental or a psychological dilemma, drama, or sorrow or anger, right? Nobody else requires those many physicians. So those people who have Shatabhisha, it might be in their chart, they might be good at being this psychologist or psychiatrist, whatever you want to call. So those kind of connections also we don't know how exactly these temples were also. There are certain books which are available. That's why I gave everybody of you the site.
Yeah.
Books.google.com. There are tons of Indic knowledge from 1800s, 1700s, and 1900s. Way pure knowledge. Then all the politics of things starts. So you will be able to find much better because those were something that were translated by the last Pandits of Sanskrit
Mhm.
in the
This
purest
is
of
one.
understanding.
This is wonderful sort of research you've done. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you, Karthik. Yeah. Anybody else? So Cheryl, I think what we answered her, right? Okay. Anybody else?
Rishi, I don't think we have any more questions in the chat, but if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free.
Sachinji, I'm not able to hear you. Can you be near the mic?
Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't see any more questions in the chat, but if anyone has any comments or questions, feel free to ask directly. By the way, Rishiji, this is a wonderful presentation. Thank you so much for these insights. These are like brilliant, especially for me. I couldn't make the connection between the number of teeth and the nakshatras. So that was pretty brilliant. Just to add a comment, I was just reading in Kabbalah astrology, they also mention in the very beginning, there are like 32 paths of the wisdom, of spiritual wisdom or something like that. I saw that number 32 there as well. So it might be a good data point to look more into.
So yes, I will give something that I know about it. So the Kabbalah says that there are 32 paths of consciousness. So the way they do it is basically they say that there are these 10 circles, 10 aspects of life, and then they are connecting them with some things. And this is basically Jewish mysticism. And one of the very famous artists, if you would, it's Madonna. I would actually recommend people go and hear her Frozen song. look at it. That is also very interesting. So I don't know much about it, but that's what I know. Yes, there is something, but it has got into a lot of contradiction in itself, because they want to formalize a process or something like that. And well, mysticism doesn't really have any formal process. In India, we already know that. So that's why it is getting into contradictions and all that stuff, actually.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Rishi ji.
Thank you.
Smita ji, I don't know, you want to ask yourself, both Smita ji and Christina ji have an observation that how do you find out if a doctor has Ashwini Nakshatra?
See, I think the problem with that is, first, people need to be open to this kind of understanding. Okay. So right now, if you go and find doctors, you will not find anything like what Smita ji is asking for, right? So that might still be possible in a different way. For example, if you hear some doctor where in some city where they are saying that, okay, this doctor is very great. Somehow, even if the pregnancy I went and I was not able to get pregnant, or I was not able to get the pregnancy done, but this doctor did it. There you will find one or the other doctor in one of the nearby cities. Normally it is there. So that is the way to find out, till we figure out how to really actually put it so that people can really take advantage of these knowledge without unnecessarily going through the pain of IVF and all this stuff, and not having a kid and all that stuff. Well, if God has created those kind of doctors, it's for a reason.
I have an observation on this as well. I also study astrocartography. And what I'm seeing is, or thinking about in this instance, if there's a person that is unable to conceive in the area that they're in, it could be that they're in a place where the planet line is giving them that barren or empty nature. And if they move to a planetary line per se where their Venus is, they will be fertile and able to conceive.
Yes. See, actually, in astrology, if people, I don't know, but you correct me if I'm wrong. See, Venus is somebody who goes in, so Venus is the guru. And in olden days, actually, if you know that, even in Greece, actually, and in India, they used to first get the blessings from the guru or the priest or the teacher before getting pregnant, right? The blessings of the guru. So that's why even isn't it said that during some alignment of Jupiter, the person is ready to have a kid, right? In a way.
Oh, I think it's Jupiter and Saturn have to be together in order, or I don't remember correctly, but also in Ayurveda, what you were saying about the planets, it could be, just from what I'm thinking, Venus, all of the qualities of Shukra, and also in Ayurveda, the Dhatus, Shukra is the Dhatu, that's really what they need to have the power of. So if they can get to that planetary line where the Venus line is, or take a trip to near the Venus line, that would give them that Shukra that they need to conceive.
That is very interesting that you said this, because I will tell you that in India, many times when you are not having a kid, right, there is the Pandits or the gurus or astrologers recommend that you do a Tirth Yatra, a religious trip to certain temples. So might be those temples are in places what you are talking about, aligned in certain ways. That is very interesting because yes, we are told to do this kind of Tirth Yatras.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? And by the way, I will continue this from Kritika onwards. Once I get ready, I will inform you. I think I should be having emails of everybody so I can directly send you the invites also now. So I think that's it for today. So, and if any other questions are unanswered, I will try to answer it in the next session. Most probably around 2 weeks or so. Thank you. Namaskar.